I tell you to remember something, will you remember it? In this video, we are going to look at a sign that God said humans should remember, and it seems to be the only sign that humans have forgotten. Hi, Kildovon here, and welcome to another episode of Week at a Glance, where we dive into a thoughtful summary of this week's Bible study guide. Welcome to another episode of our series on the Covenant. Let's say that you are a very lucky man. You are getting married to the woman of your dreams. This woman comes from a big family with 6 sisters. And right after the wedding ceremony, as you are waiting into the car for your bride, of course, one of her sisters jumps in beside you and tells you, "Hey, let's go, take me with you." You look at her, troubled, and say, "I believe I married your sister and not you." And to your surprise, she replies, "It doesn't matter. What difference does it make? I'm one of the 7. Now let me ask you this question. Does it make a difference? We will come back to this question later. The title of this episode is Covenant Sign. Now here are the important points to remember for today's episode. Our first point is the start of the Sinai Covenant. But before we go any further, I would like to say that in this summary, we are only scratching the surface of this subject. Now please turn to your Bible study guide and other supplementary materials to dive deeper into this topic. In the previous episode, we learned that before the 10 Commandments were written, they had already existed and had been kept as a moral standard. Most people don't have problems with command numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But with command number 4, that's where the problem is. Sadly, the majority of Christians put the 10 Commandments in the Old Covenant drawer, according to them, that should not be opened because it is not applicable in the New Covenant dispensation. Well, surprisingly, from this Old Covenant drawer, they all agreed to cherry-pick 9 commandments to observe, but not the one that starts with the word remember. And what you will most often hear is that the 4th commandment was only given to the Jews at Sinai. Is that so? Did it really start at Sinai? Well, you know what? It might have been written down as part of the law at Sinai, but a few weeks earlier, the Lord said to Moses, "How long do you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws?" Wait, what commandments and laws is God talking about here? Well, in verse 23, God reminded them to keep the Sabbath day holy, not just any other day, but the 7th day. The 7th day. Was the Sabbath really just for the Jews? In the New Testament, Jesus reminds us that the 7th day was made for mankind, given before there was any specific Jewish nation in Mark 2 verse 27. Jesus directs our mind to the divine origin of the Sabbath in Genesis chapter 2, 2, and 3. God did 3 specific things on the 7th day. He blessed it, He sanctified it, and then He rested on it. God sanctified it. He set it apart for a specific purpose, and it didn't start at Sinai, but it started at creation. God tells us to remember it. The use of the word remember can serve various functions. First, it looks back to the Creator who instituted the Sabbath at creation. Second, the immediate purpose of remembering involves action in the present. It means to keep or to observe the Sabbath in the present. And lastly, it focuses on the future with certainty. Hey, remember, please don't forget it. And just as the Sabbath reminded Israel of the deliverance from Egypt in Deuteronomy chapter 5, the Sabbath reassures us of the ultimate salvation found in God. Now we have to go to our next point, otherwise this summary will become too long. Our second point is the sign of the Sinai Covenant. There are so many things or objects or concepts that God could have handpicked as a sign of His covenant. But why did He take the Sabbath? The simple answer would be because that's what He chose. Why did God pick the fruit as the testing object for Adam and Eve? Why did God pick the rainbow? Simply because He chose to. But it seems like that answer wouldn't satisfy you. Is there more to it than this simple reason? Well, let's see what connection we could find with other foundational elements of our faith. First, it is a sign that reminds us that it is God who will make us holy. Humans, like any other days, we are not intrinsically holy. None of us were born holy. In Exodus 31 verse 13 says, "Surely my Sabbaths you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am the Lord who sanctifies you. I am the Lord who makes you holy. I'm the God who sets you aside for something." Second, God anchored the significance of the sign to the Sabbath of creation, that He is the Creator God who made this day holy. Exodus 31 says, "It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day He rested and was refreshed." And third, Sabbath is linked to redemption, not as a means to earn salvation, but as a reminder of God's deliverance. Deuteronomy chapter 5, "And remember that you were slaves in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God brought you out from there by an outstretched arm. Therefore the Lord commanded you to keep the Sabbath day." Sabbath was a retrospect of God's deliverance from Egypt and a foretaste of the anticipated salvation that Jesus would later accomplish. Exodus 20 and 31 reminds us that God is the God of creation. Deuteronomy chapter 5 emphasizes that He is the God of redemption. Exodus 20 and 31 links the Sabbath to the Creator God. Deuteronomy chapter 5 links the Sabbath to the Redeemer God. And it is this God that sanctified the Sabbath and this God that sanctifies His people. And from here, let's move on to our next point before this gets very lengthy. Our third and final point is the seal of the Sinai covenant. The first half of the commandments all deal with our relation with the Creator, and the second half deals with our relationship with each other as human beings. And the fourth commandment is the hinge that connects the two tablets of the Ten Commandments. It is the commandment that identifies the lawgiver, the Lord your God. It identifies His territory, the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. It also identifies the basis of His authority as Creator. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth and rested on the seventh day. The fourth commandment has the characteristics of a royal seal in ancient Near Eastern decrees. Now, here's a question for you. What significance does the Sabbath have for you and me? Well, you see, Jesus is identified in the New Testament as the active agent of creation. Look at these few Bible passages here. And after finishing His work of creation, He blessed it, sanctified it, and rested on the Sabbath. Aside from being the active agent of creation, He is also the active agent of redemption. And after finishing His sacrificial work, He rested on the Sabbath, the day that He made holy in Genesis chapter 2. The Sabbath is blessed twice, first at creation and second at the cross. You see, this is just so amazing, right? How God blessed the Sabbath and how it is the day that He calls us to keep holy because He sanctified it for a special purpose. This is just a very concise treatment on this subject. If you want to read more, I will add a few links and also recommended readings below. But I hope that this will excite you to dive into an in-depth study of this very important topic. And please remember that this sign of the covenant should draw you closer to God for you to experience an intimate relationship with Him. Look at Sabbath through the lens of Jesus and not through the eyes of the Pharisees. Experience the joy of the Sabbath through the life and ministry of Jesus and not through the legalistic observance of Israel. And worship Jesus on the Sabbath that He chose, on the Sabbath that He blessed and He sanctified, and not on a day that humans or institutions have made holy. Now let's pick up this question here again that we started with. What difference does it make? I'm one of the 7 sisters. Come, let's go have some fun. Let me ask you a question. Does it make any difference? Well, to the married couple, it surely does. In your covenant relationship with God, does it make any difference which day you keep holy? To our covenant creator and redeemer? It certainly does. Does it make any difference to you? In summary, here are the different points that we talked about in today's episode. Point number 1, the start of the Sinai covenant. Point number 2, the sign of the Sinai covenant. And point number 3, the seal of the Sinai covenant. Now, if you find this episode helpful and valuable, then please give this video a thumbs up because that helps this video to reach more audience. And don't forget to personally share it with a friend. Spread the word and change lives one message at a time. And if you want to watch more summaries like this, then click on this video right here. This is again Kay Devine for Week at a Glance. I'll see you in the next video.